Welcome to Bloody Buttered, where the horrors never die. And I'm here, and finally I can actually do the review, because, so it's Shake, Rattle, Roll Extreme. Now, a lot of people, there's a lot of mixed emotions about this. I don't understand why. But I think I know, so that's what I'm going to mention in this video too. If you must know, Shake, Rattle, and Roll is basically, it's kind of like, I'm not saying episodes, but they kind of like a small story series where attach the all together, combined to make a movie. So you have multiple stories in general. Now, there's about 3 stories in this. And there's a lot of people that don't like this. I do. I'm afraid I do. Because I actually really enjoyed this. Because sometimes I don't want to sit for an hour and 40 minutes looking at the zombie movie or something like that, or a Dracula movie, sluggish and that. These were short, brief, and they were great. I'll tell you which is the weakest one to the strongest one, I feel. Straight out. So basically, unless people's gone soft. So it shows you kind of like an intro. It does. But this is the description. They give it a 5 out of 10. Like, ouch. Like, it's only on Netflix. And people who enjoy it are actually wanting the others. Because there's actually others. As well for during the years, but basically there's multiple stories to this, and I beg to differ. I really enjoyed the change. Yes, I get it. Was there blood and gore in this? Yes, it was. A lot of it. This is another thing as well. As you see, there's the stats of how long it's for. Then there was a 2011 one, and then a 2008 one. So I haven't seen those, so I might go and check out those if I can find them, and review them if you want me to too. But I think I really should, So I'm going to get to the bottom of it. So it starts off just a small miniature one, which I think it should have been the first story. That's the one thing about the flaw about this. The first clip you see is basically like a mother being aggressive on the phone and stuff like that. And there's this little girl with a teddy bear. Just looks normal and she uses her powers, techniques or something. I can't put my finger on it. It's where she's just staring and the body's just moving side to side, bashing side to side, and stuff like that. Now, I thought that should have been the first story to play out, This is some more stats for you in general. Yeah, like so. Yeah, so a lot of people kind of are mixed emotions about it. They are. So the first story, and I think it's because of the first story. That's all. I really think it is. But if it's anything else, let me down in the comments below why you didn't like this. And let me know down in the comments below why you actually did like it as well. So, no spoilers, because I'm going to be here for an hour and a half. To go through all 3 stories. So, basically the first story, it's just a family live in this kind of, not a mansion, but like a house, I don't know, villa. Looks like a villa. And there's some squabbling going on. I'm trying not to do it without no spoilers, and it gets me, you know. So, this little girl, it's not the same little girl, it's not the same one. Keep that in mind. And I think that's what people didn't like, but it's a different story, this. So, the little girl finds a TV show. It's like a kid's TV show. It's got like a white goat, there's kids around, and it gets possessive. And I'm not kidding, it gets that far, it creates a cuddly, fluffy goat toy. Yeah. It turns really dark and gruesome when there's black mist and stuff like that. I must warn you that there's a dog in this, and it dies. But I skipped the part because I knew it was coming. You'll see it coming, so you can just skip that part, you know. But a dog does die because when I skipped it forward, they were crying on the floor about the dog dying. So, just a heads up. I've got you covered, guys. I've got you covered. And then things start to crop up. It goes a menace, and you see this Yeti, like I say Yeti, but I think the thing is the mask costume looked plasticky a little bit. It did, but it might have been just me. It was brutal. It was violent. The first story was violent. It was, and gory as well. It was. The ending of that story, though, it was average. But I would rather have that first clip of, you know, her with the cuddly toy as a big story. Do you know what I mean? I think the first story was just average. It was average. I think that's why a lot of people wouldn't like it. So we go on to the second story now. This goes hilarious because the influencers, I can't say that right, but you know what I'm saying. You know, when they have so many followers and millions, and all they do is pick up the phones, them kind of people, they live off social media. Yeah. Well, a group of these gathered together for like a party at a certain house. But something suspicious goes by because one of them are just searching because they're attracted to the handsome guy, as you call it. I saw he was fucking creepy by just looking at him, but you know, and you don't know, all of a sudden this possessed demon comes behind them and you don't see it, and it cuts off. And you see him again and he looks walking like a zombie. He does. Like he's just in another world and he just wants to eat meat. This was gruesome, gory, and gross. This was a gross, the gross part, because it all ended up finding out that these demons are living in a basement. In it is a hole and then there's an old guy chopping up pieces of meat. And it turns out that meat is human, is human meat. So the people above, the fruiters, are actually eating. Yeah. So that's how it gets gross, and you see it. But, here's the thing. One by one goes, and the demon, I call them demons because I don't know what they are, puts the hand in, rips the heart out, eats the heart, and they shapeshift. They like shapeshift into the person. It is. And you actually see this, which is good. And I thought, this is actually different. This is unique and different. Because you have like a demon type and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So one by one gets taken over. You know, this is just part of the story. Well, I'm telling you, it's not really a spoiler. But I won't get into it. But you do see something at the end. They'll freak you out. It'll freak you out because you're looking at her and you're like, you know what? I'm never going to look at those kind of people again the same way. The ending is savage. It's savage, it's brutal, it's gross. That's all I can say about that one. Yeah. So I give that one a more upper sign. So I'm going to give that one a 7. And the first story a 5. Right? But I think this was the best story. This one was the best story. Because it had the best, probably, finale as well. So this one was called Rage. This story. And they're on about 40 minutes. So if you combine it together, you know. But I think the first one was on longer. And I think it dragged on a bit. But this one, it made up for it. So this one was entirely different. Because I had to pause after the second story to breathe a little bit. Because it looked a bit gross. To me, what I saw. But, so this is called Rage. So they're going on this place. It shows you at the start someone very angry with a knife. And they stab and this black gooey something goes into her eye. Yeah. So, it all starts with this meteoroids. They like the meteors. And there's black stuff in them. And they go into wounds and parts of your skin. And you see it. You see it. And what happens to them? They turn rage. Not zombie-like it says in the description. Because there's no zombies in this. They just full pissed on rage. And you see it. It's very scary. It looks scary. It's brutal because there's also a woman that's pregnant as well. There's a woman that's pregnant, so you gotta keep an eye on her when you watch that. There's a few of these people and you see them battle it out. But one of the biggest things was the big finale at the end. Basically, there's a kind of a one with a chainsaw. And I'm not kidding, he looks better than the new Leatherface what was on Netflix. You know that Leatherface? I know there's gonna be people butthurt about that, but you see, I can't show it because of YouTube things, but I don't want to spoil it too. When you see this guy, he looks fucking wow. So, and what she does when she battles him, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. At the end, though, it's a little bit sad, but at the same time, yeah. So, I'm actually going to give that one an 8.5, the last story, because it was different. Same as the second story. There was different. There's nothing wrong with different. But the third story had different, and they capitalized on that and made it bigger. They made it bigger for you to be invested and how it's going to end. Like, are they going to get off the island or, it is. This was a great series. This is great. It's a movie, but it's got 3 different stories. But I still think the only negative part is... I think the only negative part was the first story. It was way a little bit slower than the other two. But the clip right at the start, I wish that was a story. That should have been more of a story than the first story, what you see with the little girl in the cartoon, than rather than the, little girl bashing her mum around. You know what I mean? It wasn't the same story. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. First one, I'm going to give 6.5, the first story. I'm going to give that, because the gore, there was one of the kills is absolutely insane. Second one is gross, gruesome, gory as well. I gotta give altogether a 7.9, something like that, 7.9 to 8, about that. And then as for the last story, 8.5. That's how I'm going to say. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Whew.